Welcome to another episode of the For the Love of Cricket podcast with Jim and Akim. Today we'll be discussing the group stage game played between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Pakistan batted first, made 282 for 7. Afghanistan in the end won by 8 wickets, with also 2 overs to spare, and it was clearly a fairly easy looking victory for them. This victory is actually more important and more significant than it looks. It's the first time a side has chased more than 260 to win against Pakistan in a World Cup game. And to make it look this easy is quite some accomplishment. What's your thoughts?
Uh, Big win by Afghanistan. Major upset. I'm sure that all of Pakistan will be disappointed. Looking at the game and looking at the halfway mark when Pakistan got to 282 for 7, I thought that they were comfortable. I thought that it was a score that they would have defended. I expected them to probably strike early with the new ball and then have steady inroads throughout the Afghan innings, and then they would have won the game. That wasn't the case. Credit must go to Afghanistan. They batted very well in a chase that looked very calculated. I'm sure coach Jonathan Trott must take a lot of credit for this batting effort. They have looked a much better team batting in this tournament, and it really counted in the game today.
So we start with the Pakistan innings. Abdullah Shafiq, he got a half century. So did the captain Babar Azam. He made 74. What's your take on how their batting effort was?
I think both of them got decent knocks. When you look at the Pakistani total, 282 for 7 in 50 overs, you think that it's a score that they would have backed themselves to defend. That being said, you look at the strike rate of the set batters, you look at the strike rate of Babar Azam, you look at Shafiq's strike rate, and it was disappointing. Both were striking at around 80 or just below 80. In modern day 50 over cricket, not acceptable. When you look at the score that they ended up getting looking back, I think the bowling effort was poor in parts, but looking back, I'm sure both batters would have felt that they probably could have scored at a faster rate, and that could have propelled Pakistan to pass 300. Psychologically, I think Afghanistan chasing 300, it would have been a much different and much more difficult task than chasing 282 psychologically.
Afghanistan, well, both teams played the extra spinner today. Afghanistan brought in Noor Ahmed. You mentioned the strike rates. I think the Afghanistani spinners bowled really well. They strangled Pakistan in those middle overs. Noor Ahmed gave them something that they haven't seen before or they're not used to seeing before. It's very rare that they see a left-arm Chinaman bowler bowling around the wicket.
Yeah.
They generally stay over. That's because the wrist spinner, the leg spinner that they bowl, is generally their better delivery. But for Noor Ahmed, it's his googly.
Yeah.
Coming around the wicket, the angles that he created, it's as if you're batting to a left-arm finger spinner with the bounce, drift and dip of a wrist spinner. A number of the Pakistan batters tried to sweep him and they struggled. Shafiq got out to him LBW. Rizwan got out to him sweeping, caught at third man.
Yeah.
And Babar didn't look as comfortable to him, and he finally got a bad delivery and probably was so anxious to hit it, he just gave the man an extra cover catching practice. What's your thought on the Afghani bowling effort?
I think the bowling effort was very good. It's very significant that when you look at the bowling card from Afghanistan, Mujib Rahman and Rashid Khan got 0 wickets. Both of them didn't pick up a wicket in the Pakistani innings, but Afghanistan were still able to stifle and strangle Pakistan and keep them to a score of below 300. Credit must go to Noor Ahmed. Credit must go to Mohamed Nabi as well, who I thought was decent. Naveen Olhad picked up.
With that 3 and over.
He was very good. Naveen picked up a couple of wickets as well, and it was overall a good bowling effort. Afghanistan, as we've always said, is a team that, in my opinion, their bowling unit is much stronger than the batting unit. The batting unit has made significant strides in this tournament, but they would always feel as if their bowling unit can restrict a team to, I would think, 250 or below. In this case, it was 280. They would always think that they have a chance, especially if they get through the power play and get a solid start in the game. They would always think they have a chance, and that was the case today. It was good execution and a proper 50-over game played by them.
We mentioned that Pakistan struggled in the middle overs. The one weak point with Afghani bowling is their lack of depth bowlers. They have Naveen and they basically have Azmatullah, which is a batsman who bowls a bit of medium pace, bowling the death overs. As a result, the depth wasn't that strong for them. Shadab Khan and Iftikhar Ahmed came in and both made 40. So that was probably the only weak point for the game. The only weak point to the game for the Afghanistans, and probably the only bright light for Pakistan. Pakistan, though, having seen Shadab Khan get into the team, he was dropped the last game. He got a score here, he made 40, yes. And probably would be thinking, well, he's got some runs, we've got 280, Shadab Khan is back. We might be able to spin some rings around these guys. What's your take on the Pakistani response?
The Pakistani bowling response was disappointed. I almost felt as if they took it for granted that they would just blow the Afghani batters away. Watching the game and looking at how the batters played, credit must go to the Afghani batters. A lot of runs were scored through the offside. A lot of boundaries were scored through the offside. I think Pakistan bowled with a lot of width. I'm not sure if it was a case of, well, not even that, because even in the middle overs, they still bowl a bit too wide to the Afghani batters, I believe. It was disappointing. They didn't strike with a new ball. Harris Rauf was expensive when he came on. And then the spinners weren't penetrative. Both spinners went wicketless in the game. And when you look at how they have performed all tournament, it has been very below par, especially for a nation like Pakistan. You would think that coming into the tournament, they would be one of the teams that would have stronger spinners, or have spinners that would have performed to a better level. It has been below par. Shadab Khan is somebody that has to bear the brunt of the blame and responsibility here. He's a senior player now in this Pakistani team, and he carries the brunt of the spin bowling. He is the man that should be leading the spin bowling attack, and he has been below par in the tournament. He was dropped for a game, returned, got runs, but his output with the ball has been below par. Osama Mir bowled, he didn't pick up any wickets in the game. He was bowled a bit indifferent. I don't think he creates enough pressure for long periods. He doesn't bowl enough wicket-taking deliveries, and there always seems to be a release ball with him. He got 1 wicket in the last game, no wicket here today, and you wonder if his selection makes much of a difference as compared to having Nawaz in the team.
Yeah, Osama Mir, his good balls are brilliant balls, but then there's a cut coming soon.
Always
or
a
a
cut
full
coming.
toss coming soon. The Pakistan effort, in my view, in their attempt to defend the total, it was as if they were always either too wide or too full, and on some occasions both. There were a number of misfields. Those 70-30, 50-50 diving chances on the boundary all went against them.
Yeah.
they tried to hit the ball back in and then just kept hitting it into the boundary cushions. Guys were diving over balls, guys ran past balls.
There was a case where somebody ran 3 to third man.
Yes. So it was just a shoddy performance of Pakistan in the field. Again, Shaheen Shah Afridi failed to strike with the new ball. The ball isn't swinging, and as a result, he has to just try and be like a holding bowler, a line bowler, and see if the batsman can make a mistake. His fellow seamers didn't support him. Outside of that first game that Harris Raff bullied the Netherlands, he's been hemorrhaging runs since. For the 4 games after that, it's been terrible. And Hassan Ali has been there and thereabout. Additionally, I think under the lights, this wicket was a bit. It came onto the bat better than we thought, and I'm sure both teams would have anticipated, which made the bowling effort difficult. You had very, very, very fine margins for error. Even aside from the bad deliveries that the seamers bowled, even the good balls, some of them were going for 4. Batsmen are also leaning on deliveries and on those Indian outfields. Once it gets past the 30-yard circle, you just go and fetch it and throw it back. That being said, what's your take on the Afghani batting effort?
I think the battles were all good. They had a very solid approach, starting with the opening partnership. The opening partnership was 130 runs. Gurbaz and Zadran were very good. I think they were crisp in the stroke play. They looked very decisive and they looked positive. They were eager to pick singles up, turning ones into twos, turning ones into even threes on some occasions. And they played with a whole lot of intent. They are a positive team. They're positive players. It looks as if they are following keenly the instructions of Jonathan Trott. He was a very meticulous player. When he was playing, he was very precise, determined, focused on what he wanted to do and set out to achieve. And he has really brought that over into this Afghani unit. And they are really showing that in their batting effort. That being said, the batters were good. Ramat Shah coming at 3 and the captain Hazmatullah at 4 were also good. It was a tricky period because having picked up wickets, Shaheen Shah Afridi broke the first partnership. You thought that was the period in which Pakistan would have looked to get back into the game, but it was important that they occupied the crease, spent time there and formed a partnership to take some sting out of the Pakistani effort, and they did that very well. So credit must go to them.
So again, it's the Mat boys, Hashmatullah and Ramatullah, who came and finished off the game after the openers gave a beautiful opening partnership. Afghanistan would be pretty happy about the fact that Zadran finally got a good score. He came into the World Cup averaging 50.
Yeah.
And as a 21-year-old averaging 50, it's quite an achievement. And to finally live up to the promise, him and Gurbaz would be some positive going forward. It's looking good for them going forward. Hopefully they can repeat this. As Akin said, after those 2 wickets fell, we thought that Pakistan would be roaring back at that point. That happened with them in the last game where Shaheen took 5. And generally with these lesser experienced teams, you don't really get good batting performances from numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. You normally get 1 or 2 of those guys, then a collapse, and then probably someone in the lower order stands up and gives you a 30 or a 40. So to see them continuing applying pressure on the Pakistani bowlers throughout their batting effort is really, really good to see and shows that their place in this World Cup is very, very much warranted. Um, I think most people would have said Afghanistan might have won 2 games in this World Cup. They have already won 2 from only 5 games.
Yeah.
Do you see them upsetting anyone else?
I think somebody else is in trouble. I think they will take another scalp. The batters will take a lot of confidence from this game. We always knew that the bowling unit, as I said, was their stronger suit, but the batting would be the side of the team that would be a bit weaker. A number of the top order batters are young. Ramanullah Gurbaz is just 21 years old. He averages almost 40 in one-day cricket. He has 5 centuries and 4 half centuries in 31 games. Those are very good 50-over cricket numbers, very good numbers, and he played a very good knock today, a very mature knock. He will take a lot of confidence from the game today, as will the other batters who all got scores and got starts. And you feel as if their batting unit clicks and they bat well and they post decent scores, with the bowling unit that they have, especially with the spinners, Noor came into the game today and bowled well, picked up some wickets. He will be bringing with confidence. And Rashid Khan has not really come to the tournament for them as yet. And I personally don't think that we'll see this World Cup finishing without Rashid Khan having a big performance. So if things continue as they are and Afghanistan bat well and Rashid Khan finds a performance, somebody else is in trouble if they combine all of those together well in a game. So it's interesting to see. I was very impressed with them today, and I think they have another big scalp to take.
Another point for concern for Pakistan. Looking at the Pakistan bowling lineup, generally Pakistan don't use part-timers. If they need spin bowlers, they have genuine all-rounders to do it. In the past, they had Mohammad Hafiz and Shoaib Malik. Iftikhar Ahmed is a genuine part-time spinner.
Yeah.
And he's been bowling in most of the games. That is very, very concerning for Pakistan. Pakistan is a bowling team.
It's very telling because Iftikhar has to be coming on and bowling overs, but it shows the lack of confidence in the spinners that are playing. Shows the lack of confidence in Shadab Khan, in Usama Mir, and the lack of confidence that was also there with Nawaz when he was playing. So it's very concerning. Pakistan is generally a nation that is a strong bowling unit. They generally have
5 bowlers.
5 proper threatening bowlers, and you feel like the bowling attack is weak here. Hassan Ali, I think, started the tournament fairly strong in the first 2 games or so, but he has sort of tailed off. Shadab had Shaheen Afridi had an indifferent start, but he picked up the 5-wicket haul. Haris Rauf has been off it for the last couple of games, woefully off it, and the spinners are struggling. Pakistan coming into this tournament, you would have thought they were a team that backed themselves to get 280, 270 and defend it in these conditions. They're looking nowhere close to that now. They're looking nowhere close to that, and it's major cause of concern because Australia is resurgent. They're back in the tournament and they are now looking like the odds-on favorite to make it into the top 4. And Pakistan, who started the tournament strongly, have tailed off. So they really have to get a number of things together. Imam ul Haq got out to another short ball today. That was also disappointing. It wasn't at express pace either. So I think a number of Pakistani players are performing well below standard, and they need to pull their socks up if they want to see their team into the top 4.
I think if someone went to Mickey Arthur and said Pakistan would have been 5 games into the tournament, and out of those 5 games they would have passed 250 4 times, do you think, how many of those games you think you would win? And I'm sure you would have said 4 of those 5.
Yeah, he would have said at least 3 or 4, at least.
Now they're struggling with 280, struggling with 300. So I don't know how they're going to fix it. I don't see any. They have Mohamed Wazim Jr. on the bench. I don't know if he comes in for somebody, for Harris or probably.
I think
But
he
I
had gotten
think-
injured before the
Was it?
tournament. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They're the ones being paid for that one though, so we leave it to them. That's it for our episode today. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys.